Welcome to Wanderlust Adventures. I'm Farkon, aka Extreme Agent, here with a Sorcerer's Guide on how to be OP, with energy and ice. We'll be talking about the basics of the combination, the various skills you'll be using, and the gear that you'll need. But first, let's start off with the skills. Obviously, when you're leveling up, you don't have that much in terms of versatility and damage. Personally, I'd recommend getting a little bit more endurance and toughness so you have the SP to start spamming Energized and Rock Ward. Rock Ward is extremely important. With Rock Ward, you'll have a very good buff that you can quickly switch to. You know, just before you're going into town, you know, cast this and then there you go, switch back to ice. It's very easy to do. A lot of people don't do this for some reason. I'm not sure why. Second, we got Energized. Now, Energized, this is a staple ability. Teleports you out of danger, and it keeps melee mobs at a distance due to the circle that it encases you with. With the lightning circle, you can do some pretty good AoE damage too. You know, because mobs are going to be attacked by your allies or with your shock ability that'll knock them back and hit them into the energized circle. And of course, mobs will chase you, hitting the circle multiple times as well. And that adds up for a lot of damage. Next, you'll want to get, after you max out Rock Ward, that's what I would recommend. Next, you'll want to upgrade your shock a little bit so that you do more damage to mobs with your basic attack. You know, when you freeze them up, you can do a lot of damage with just spamming shock. You know, keep them in a corner and just keep spamming that until they can start wiggling out. Usually they'll take a lot of damage and die, but on higher difficulties, you might have to spam it more than usual. Next up, obviously, is focus. Focus is extremely important. With focus, you regenerate your SP like crazy. Look at it. Look at the SP regeneration. I can't even run out, and I only have a bonus of... I have no bonus to my SP currently from gear. In my guide, I recommend having 500 SP, but that's only if you don't max out focus or have it. Now, after focus, I'd recommend getting an ice aura. Try to max this out as well. With ice aura, it lays down an ice aura, of course, in a little area. In this area, mobs can get frozen, but most importantly, it enables you to have ice attacks with your basic attacks, or any attack that is. And this doesn't apply to you, it applies to your allies as well. It's very potent. After we get Ice Aura, I'd recommend going for Ice Nova. Ice Nova does some pretty good single target damage. You'll shoot 4 projectiles, and at point blank range, all of them will hit with a very high chance of freezing, if they're not already frozen. With Ice Aura, and using this, you have an extremely high chance to freeze enemies. Now, this isn't including gems. Once you start getting gems and adding fire damage and ice damage, you can just freeze them with only your basic attacks with shock. And if you combine it with Ice Aura and Ice Nova, it's almost guaranteed that your opponents are going to die from freezing, and then shock spam right afterwards. You know, maybe throwing a chain lightning afterward. That. After you max out Ice Nova, I'd recommend getting 1 point in Ice Shield because it's very easy with your ice abilities to just, you know, cast that. And it's a nice little buff. You know, if an enemy attacks you unexpectedly, it'll block an attack and freeze them. The damage that you take from it is actually strange, because this works like as if you had guard up, you know, if you blocked an attack. So powerful attacks can still get through and hurt you, maybe even kill you. Now, after all that's said and done, it's pretty much whatever you want. I'd recommend Chain Lightning, you know, because while you're spamming these attacks, you can throw in a Chain Lightning. And you can also hit mobs from a distance with that as well. After that, I'd also recommend getting Fortitude. With Fortitude, it increases your resistances by quite a bit. Getting hit with a stun or sleep or even poison can be really detrimental and kill you very easily. Now, let's talk about the gear. Obviously, you won't have epics and such right off the bat. Personally, for each slot, I'd recommend trying to max out your physical to 75%, that's the max. Have about 1000 HP, but most importantly, get fire damage and ice damage as soon as you can. You get fire damage and ice damage from jewels. Opal gives you fire damage and Sapphire gives you ice. Those are extremely important because it also helps you with locking down mobs and dealing extra damage. After you get those gems, you want to focus on damage. Since I don't have, you know, epics out of my butt, I got Torment. Torment does a lot of damage. It does 175 damage and is very potent. Obviously, it comes with a gem slot, which is helpful for getting maximum resist, you know, increasing your HP and such, and of course getting your fire damage and ice damage. When you finally get to epics, the helmet I would recommend is called Frostbite. Obviously, it's kind of funny that they call it Frostbite, but it gives you auto revive instead. It also comes with a slot. I would also recommend putting, you know, ice or fire damage in that. For your amulet, you basically all your gear you just want a slot for, because getting those gems is the most important aspect. Haru Protector is probably the best armor that I've seen. The only thing that compares to it is the Midnight Shroud, but obviously getting your Haru Protector is a lot easier. For your ring, pretty much HP or damage. And then your charm is your Resist All charm. Why I get Resist All is as again, getting hit by status effects really is detrimental and can get you killed quite easily. If you can survive 1 or 2 shots, then yeah, you're fine, but if you get stunned after that first shot, you're pretty much dead. And that about covers the gear. Let's go to the arena so I can show these skills and abilities in practice. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So as you can see, this is a pretty intense arena battle. I gotta make sure my allies are buffed up with Rock Ward. It does a lot of damage if you have all your allies buffed. You know, 8 different targets buffed up by your ability. That's a lot of damage. And here's some Energized, you know, give my allies a little breathing room from the mobs. Looks like another one downed. Alright, here, have that. Ice Aura. See how that guy got frozen? Makes it easier for our ally Crusader to take him out. Wreck Ward these guys up. Watch out for that boar. You don't want to touch that boar. He hurts a lot. Did he just make a Z? Oh, and the boar explodes. Just for some reason. I don't know why. Makes no sense to me. But basically, as you can see, we don't do that much damage in retrospect compared to other classes. Other classes are hitting for like 500 to 1k damage on a regular basis. But since we got range and combos, we can still do a decent amount of damage at range and not get brutally murdered like my allies are getting brutally murdered. Oh man. Alright, see how I'm using Energize right now to keep these mobs off me and get into my ally to help her out. It's pretty intense, so I'm not going to switch to Rock Ward until I can. You know, here's some more Energizes to get some pressure off her. And she's dead. That's not good. Oh, that's not good. Alright, teleport away. Try not to get hit. Chain Lightning to, you know, bounce off all those mobs. Crap. Alright, here I'm by myself. That's fine. Just throw Chain Lightnings, Energize when they get close. Knock them around a bit with Rock Ward when I can. Chain Lightning right now is really good because I can just throw it and run. Energize up to that eye. We gotta kill that eye. That eye is a problem with its laser beams. Of course, if I get hit by these slimes, it's over as well. Come on. All these slimes are blocking my attacks, so it's really hard to get to the eye. If you're a fire user, you have Meteor to get to the eye, or if you're an earth user, you got Boulder. So those two different elements have a little bit of an advantage over energy in that respect. But it shouldn't be a problem for me. Just Rock Ward it up and take out that eye, eventually. As you can see, the eye isn't freezing. Some mobs are completely resistant to status effects, usually if they're renowned. So you just gotta, it's basically a test of endurance, you know, spamming shock, chain lightning, and not getting into their attack range. See how easy it is to buff up your allies? Just quickly switch around. In fact, if you just want to, you could just simply use Rock Ward and keep spamming that on your allies. As you can see, Rock Ward Wreck Ward's a very interesting ability in retrospect because not only does it give you 5 free extra attacks, but those attacks are from your attack strength, but the modifiers are from their allies and their elemental status. So, for example, if I rock Ward an assassin and he comes up from behind onto a burning enemy, his assassinate will trigger, as well as the extra damage he gets from being on fire. Because when you hit an enemy with a rock attack while they're on fire, they take extra damage. I also kind of wish they'd buff up Sorcerer's damage a little bit. I mean, we don't have any defensive abilities aside from Energized and our buffs. Unlike an assassin, they can guard and they can dash away and use stealth potions, and just their AoE on themselves is quite a powerful defensive tool. Or a Crusader with their healing and their auto revives and just for being able to revive. And they're also far tankier as well. So I wish they just, you know, compensate for the Sorcerer's fertility for more damage. Now some might argue that, you know, hey, we're ranged, we don't have to be close to them, etc, etc. But still, it's not that hard for mobs to just spring up on you. Say I'm fighting this rock golem, he has ranged attacks, you know? I'm fighting this blood golem, he has a ranged attack too. So being at range isn't always safe. It is safer, but moving and being at range is probably the safest bet. See, like that damn blood golem, he got me real good. Blood golem OP, I quit. Look at that, there's nothing we can do. Everyone's dead. She's probably desperate to revive someone, but if she stops moving, she's dead as well. So as you can see, you can get pretty high up there in the arena rankings. You can get up to 20 if you're more careful. Unlike me, I wasn't that careful. I got hit by blood. Hopefully this video has given you an idea on how to fight as an energy/ice sorcerer, and it's given you an idea on what to do. You know, perhaps you want to come up with new ideas for this ice sorcerer/energy. Oh, hi. How's it going? So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed, you know, watching me die from an OP blood golem. And as always, keep on gaming, but don't be hating. Take care.